How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel again. We're just a bit of an update here today. The 140 is gone, it's sold, it's away down to England. The TT actually that I was doing in the middle of doing the series on, I got an offer I couldn't refuse on that, so I've let that one go as well. I've still got the Puma. I'm using it as a daily runabout just now, so quite happy with that at the moment. The Evoque, I see in the background there, it's sitting waiting on parts at the moment. You see a video, it was on the channel the other day when we started repairing it, waiting the bumper coming back for paint, and then we'll get that one finished. So in the meantime we have another new car. Now this one I have just bought from Copart. It is a 2016 Mini John Cooper Works. It has 41,000 miles on the clock and it is being written off as a category N, so let's take a look at it. So here it is, as I said, 2016 Mini John Cooper Works. It is actually a genuine works. There is surprisingly very little damage to it. There's a little bit of damage on the front bumper there. Along the sides are fine. Along that side's fine. There's damage at the back. No damage there. The exhaust tips need a bit of work. So this one is actually been for a swim. Yeah, it's flood damaged, it's a non-runner. When it got delivered they accidentally went to start it and it just makes a clicking noise, so it's not turning over. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the engine, we will actually go through a kind of procedure where we'll just do a few checks just to see how bad it is. I have actually prepared for the worst for an engine change, so we might go for an engine change, worst case scenario. Hopefully it won't come to that, but we'll get started on it and we'll see how it goes. So if we start off looking under the bonnet, it doesn't actually look too bad. It is dirty. I don't actually see any evidence of anybody having it stripped down. I'm also not seeing a lot of water damage. There is like leaves about the place, but that would indicate to me that there hasn't been much water because they're certainly not stuck to anything. They're all dry, crispy. Up here doesn't look as though it's been flooded too high, so it really is a bit strange. Also, if we look inside the car, you can see, although it is dirty, there is absolutely no evidence of flooding being in the car. It's bone dry inside. I think we have had a dog, or there's a few hairs there, so again, no real evidence of it being flooded inside. So we'll start stripping the engine down at the top. We'll take the spark plugs out, we'll have a look, put the camera down the bores, we'll take the air filter out, see if there's any damage to the air filter. We'll then probably try turning the engine by hand. We'll drop the oil out it just to see if there's any water in the oil or any debris in the sump. We'll take it from there. So we'll start off by removing the air filter. It is just a few small torque screws and these don't look like they've been moved recently, so a bit unsure of what I'm going to find here. Hopefully it will be dry, but you never know. Normally if it's been assessed with insurance they don't always put things back together, so they've either put it all back together or nobody's actually been in here for a look so far. I think if it's dry it would be a really good sign, but I do expect the worst and we will continue working our way through some tests before we try anything else. Yeah, the air filter is absolutely soaking wet, so definitely ingested water. It looked like inside, and yeah, there's evidence of water having been in there as well, so that's not a good sign. Next thing we'll do, we'll leave that out, no point putting that back in. Next thing we'll do is we'll take the spark plugs out and we'll see, have a look down the bores to see what's the damage down there. Okay, so that's the first telltale sign that actually something's been at this, because that coil pack wasn't tight. Yeah, typical Mini with a socket specifically for Mini and BMW spark plugs. Again, not that tight. Yeah, the spark plug, if you look at there, it is absolutely soaking, and the electrode did have water between it, so doesn't smell of fuel. Does actually, there's no smell to it at all. So yeah, it looks as though we've got water in the engine as well. So yeah, not a good sign. So I'm just continuing removing the coil packs and plugs to open up visible access to all 4 cylinders so that I can use the Autel camera to look down the bores. I should say just now, in anticipation of needing a new engine, I've actually found one down in England at Global Parts through eBay. Now, John Cooper Works engines are typically quite expensive, but a bit of research tells me that some BMWs have the exact same engine code as the Works Mini, and I can actually source a good low mileage engine for around £2,000 rather than paying upwards of £3,500 for an engine taken from a Mini. They also have the same lower compression pistons that the Works cars have fitted, so should be an exact swap. Now this is a good time to say, if you want to see this Mini come back to life and also get some modifications done and you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. You guys help me grow this channel and take on bigger projects every time you do so, and I really appreciate your help. So the next thing we'll do is we'll use the Autel here to run the Borescope down the bore, and we'll have a look, see if we can see anything inside the bore. I'll try recording that to see if we can get any decent footage for this video. Oh yeah, so there's a fair bit of rust in there. Yeah, that is really quite bad in there. Now that engine is absolutely knackered. I'll put a video of this up on the screen, but there's no I think what we need to do is look at the options. Is it just get a replacement engine, or do we go down the route of rebuilding this engine? Looking at the state of the liners in there, I think it's probably easier to put the new engine in, to be honest. It's a shame, but hopefully that's the only thing we need. I'm not going to even continue with this engine after seeing what I've seen there. So unfortunately that is going to end it until I get my hands on an engine. So the damage we found inside the engine with the rust inside the cylinders, with it being an aluminium block, I'm not too confident that it'll be able to be repaired very easily without having to go bigger pistons and that. I think I want to keep the engine pretty standard. So I think the easiest thing will be to take the engine out. But what we're going to do first is we're going to take the oil. We've got to see how much water's actually in the oil as well. I do have a few questions now that I've seen the damage that's in the car. First off, I don't know how good the turbo is going to be. There's obviously been water through the turbo, so I need to make sure that's not damaged. The intercooler will probably be full of water, and I also don't know what the gearbox is going to be like. It should be okay because it's sealed. However, we'll have to have a look at that as well. We'll drop the oil out of that at some point as well before we take the engine out, just to make sure it's got to be okay, and then that gives us an idea of what we're going to order. Also, I don't know the state of any of the electrics. Obviously, the ignition comes on in the car, it comes on okay, it doesn't show up any warnings at the moment. I've not plugged it into the code reader at this point yet because the battery's a bit flat and I've not charged it yet. But once we're taking it to bits, we'll have a good look at everything. Obviously, things like the starter motor, that's right down the front of the engine, so that could be a bit fried. We'll find out as we go, but I think we'll just get cracking, so let's do it. Oh yeah, that's water. So yeah, there's a lot of water there first, and it's mixing with oil as it comes. So yeah, the water that's been in the cylinders has obviously drained into the sump of the engine. That'll cause further damage. It probably damaged the shells and the bearings down there now, so that's it now, pure oil. So yeah, definitely think that it'll be easier just changing this engine than actually trying to repair it. We will take the engine to bits just to have a look at it, just see how bad it is once we've got it out, but I think we'll change it. Yeah, so the next thing we'll do is we'll drop the gearbox oil and just got to see if there's any water in here. I'm really hoping there isn't any in there. Yeah, that's just gearbox oil, thankfully, so far. Yeah, so thankfully that looks pretty good. We'll let that drain. We'll then have to drain the hydraulic cylinder, make sure we get all the oil out that first, and then we can continue on with possibly taking the rest of the engine out. We'll be able to see the clutch when it comes out. No doubt that's got some water damage in it, but we'll give that a good inspection when it comes out. Confident the gearbox has got to be okay now, but we'll see what happens. So I think that'll probably be a good point to end this video on the first of the series of the Mini. We've established that, yeah, the engine is going to have to be changed. I don't think that we're going to be able to save this engine with the damage to the cylinder liners. I think because it's aluminium and it'll probably have some sort of coating on it, it would just be too much to do. There is lots of engines available. I will go on, I've sourced one. I'll go on in the next video on how I've sourced it and what it's from. And what we're going to do to change it. We've established that the gearbox should be okay. Hopefully the rest of the stuff's got to be okay, but we'll inspect everything as we go. And if you want to see more, please don't forget to like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. And I'll see you in the next video.
There's a fire